If you ignore the information in this report, you will miss the one signal that comes right before a massive global financial shift, and you'll be left behind while Wall Street cashes in. But here's the twist. The price you see for XRP every day, it isn't real. It's a decoy. And by the end of this explainer, you are going to understand the exact mechanism they're using to hide trillions of dollars, and the one single event that is going to force all of it out into the open. All right, let's just get right into it. The entire crypto world, maybe even you, is staring at that public ledger price, right? The one you see on Coinbase, on all the exchanges, thinking it's the real deal. But that's the whole illusion. The public price of XRP is a carefully engineered lie. It's a smokescreen designed to distract you from where the real money, trillions of dollars, is actually moving on a private, hidden ledger they never, ever wanted you to know existed. So the big question is, how in the world do they pull this off? In this first section, we are going to break down the illusion completely. And I promise you, by the time we're done with this part, you will get the mechanics of this price suppression, and you'll know the single catalyst that's going to force all that hidden value to just explode into the public eye. Now, this is where it gets really interesting, because it's not just market forces at play. The whole theory is that the price is being deliberately, systematically pushed down, and regulators are creating this fog of uncertainty. It does two things perfectly. First, it scares out all the impatient retail holders, and second, it creates this incredible once-in-a-lifetime buying opportunity for the major institutions who know exactly what's just around the corner. And that brings us to part 2, Wall Street's secret war. Look, this isn't just some random market chop. This is a strategic, calculated campaign being waged against you, the retail investor. It's being run by institutions and regulators, and it's designed for one purpose: to let them acquire a world-changing asset for pennies on the dollar. So what's their primary weapon in this war? It's something called dark pools. These are basically private, off-the-books exchanges. So while you're seeing these tiny little retail orders on the public exchanges, the big guys are using a private RippleNet layer to execute massive billion-dollar transactions, moving enormous value without ever touching or affecting that public price you see. And the amount of money we are talking about here, it is absolutely staggering. Based on deep analysis of institutional trading patterns and some off-chain data, insiders estimate that over $16 trillion in value is already flowing through these private systems. No, that's not a typo. $16 trillion, completely invisible to you and the rest of the public market. So you have to ask, why? What's the motive? Why go to all this trouble to suppress the price? It's brutally simple, really. It's so that institutions, like BlackRock, can scoop up massive amounts of XRP for dirt cheap. From you, from impatient retail investors who get scared off by the price action that they are manipulating. They want to own the rails of the entire new financial system before it even goes live. Now, I get it. If this all sounds like some wild conspiracy theory, you absolutely need to see Section 3. Because this exact playbook, it's been run before. We're just watching a high-tech, digital repeat of the 1970s silver market manipulation. History is literally repeating itself. Just look at how this works. Back in the 70s, the big banks created paper silver, things like derivatives and futures contracts, to just flood the market and absolutely crush the price of real physical silver. Today, they're using these private ledgers as a form of paper crypto to do the exact same thing to XRP. But, and this is the crucial part, here is the glitch in their plan. Unlike silver, you can't just mine or print more XRP. The supply is absolutely fixed, and that makes their whole suppression game mathematically impossible to maintain forever. And that brings us to the most critical part of this entire report, Section 4, flipping the trillion-dollar switch. This is the moment the game ends. This is the event that merges the two ledgers and makes the suppression physically impossible to keep up. People in the know are calling this event the switch. And listen, this isn't just some wild theory. It's an accounting inevitability. When the time finally comes for global adoption, all those private dark pool transactions must be reconciled on the public ledger. The hidden value has to be accounted for, and that forces the two ledgers to merge into one. And here's the sequence of how it all goes down. First, we get full regulatory clarity right here in the United States, most likely after the SEC lawsuit is totally in the rearview mirror. Second, that legal green light forces all those private pools to settle their massive transactions on the public chain. And third, The suppression completely shatters as $16 trillion of real institutional value comes flooding into a market that was artificially held down for years. The result of this revaluation, it's not going to be some slow, gradual climb up the charts. No way. The models are predicting an overnight price correction, a violent jump to a price that actually reflects its true utility in the global financial system. And the numbers being talked about by insiders point to a revaluation event that could send XRP to over $100, almost instantly. So this leads us to our final and, frankly, our most urgent section. This is about not getting left behind. For U.S. investors specifically, this regulatory confusion has created a very unique and very rapidly closing window of opportunity. I mean, just look at the U.S. national debt. The dollar is on a path that is simply not sustainable, and the powers that be, they know this. They aren't trying to stop the crash. They're busy building the lifeboat for themselves. They're positioning XRP as a core piece of the new system, and they are counting on you selling them your ticket on that lifeboat for pennies because you got bored or you got scared. Here at Crypto Global News, we are tracking all the data points that will signal when this ledger merger is about to happen. If you want to get that alert the moment we see the signs, you cannot afford to wait. You must subscribe and you must hit that bell icon right now. Do not miss what could be the single most important financial alert you will ever receive. And for those of you who want this information before anyone else even hears about it, take out your phone and scan the QR code you see on your screen right now. It's going to take you to our private Telegram channel. That's where we post the uncensored intel and the most urgent updates first. The link is also down in the description below. You know, this entire scenario, it really just boils down to one simple question. The financial system is being reset. We know that. The switch is going to flip. The only question that's left is this. When it does, will your bags be packed? And hey, don't go anywhere. Look at the end card on your screen. In our very next report, we are exposing the secret meeting that decided the entire fate of Ethereum and gave certain insiders a completely unfair advantage right from day one. You're not going to want to miss that one. Click on it and we'll see you there.
Stay ahead in the crypto market. Subscribe now for the latest global news and updates.